Hi, everybody. Just want to remind you all to do whatever you can. It looks like the whole country and even other countries are doing what they can to save USA's democracy. So if you haven't seen it yet, during the World Series all weekend, LA Dodgers happened to be playing the Toronto Blue Jays, I believe. I'm not a baseball fan. I am an ice hockey fan, though. Oh, my gosh. But back to reality. So there's a part of Canada that's called Ontario, in case you didn't know. And there's a conservative there that's in charge of the Ontario area. His name is Doug Ford. And he's actually a progressive conservative, he's calling himself. I don't know since when. So he's a right, but he's not extreme right. Anyway, he spent $75 million to run these commercials this weekend to prove a point. I'm not saying it's his money. He wanted all Americans and Canadians that were watching the baseball World Series to know that Ronald Reagan, like our country, America's favorite Republican is supposedly Ronald Reagan. I'm not that sure if I would know that or not, but I would say probably. So what they did was run a clip of a 1987 speech he gave, Ronald Reagan, former President Ronald Reagan, in 1987. He gave the speech. The speech is actually 5 minutes, but they just took a little bit of it. I think they're saying it's 1 minute, and they played it as a commercial. And it wasn't touched at all. So even though Trump and all the MAGAs are saying it's AI, it's been altered, it has not been altered. You could find the full 5 minutes on YouTube if you actually want to listen to the full 5 minutes. It wasn't edited in certain sentences for the commercial. It's just truly what Ronald Reagan is saying about tariffs. And that's that he feels that they are not good for the economy. They drain our economy, and it raises costs for the consumers and the businesses. So that's a big deal. Now
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products.
That voice narrates the entire 1-minute ad, warning of the impact of tariffs.
Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs.
It ends showing the speaker, the late Republican President Ronald Reagan, from an address in 1987. Ford told the crowd it was his idea.
Got a lot of pushback from this, from the first one that aired Friday night, from our government to Canada. And President Trump, makes me sick, said he's going to impose another 10% tariff on top of Canada's tariff that we already give them. He just got so triggered from a 1987 Ronald Reagan clip on tariffs. But the former president was grounded in his speech. He's such a calm man. He was nothing like we have now. Nobody has ever been like what we have now. And everybody needs to start becoming aware of what is going on. If you haven't already, at least be open to what's going on and start listening and watching. Because no matter how hard him and his cabinet are going on Fox News, which really isn't news, they actually are telling people lies, but we know they're not true because we're living it. It's so obvious that the economy is not great. It's actually risen to almost 3% from where we were. 3%, that's high. And I know inflation usually rises, but number one, Donald Trump has risen it more than the average. And two, he ran on his campaign that he would make our economy better. And he has not. He has laid off employees by the hundreds of thousands, and he continues to do so while we're in the shutdown, day 27. That also affects the people that the government contracts out to. They have no contracts from the government going on. They're not getting paid from those contracts that are already predetermined to do things for the government. All those families and human beings and people, they are losing jobs because of it. Everybody in the area where these people work, the eateries, every place they shop while they're at work, all that goes away while we're on shutdown. Now, also, there's been tons and tons of lines at the food line pantries because our essential workers are not getting paid, but they're expected, and they do go to work anyway, and they work for free. So you see our actual federal workers on huge lines along with other people to get a box of food from the food pantry that's local to them for their family or for themselves. And they're running out of food because they did not expect this. This is the second Trump shutdown. First one was in 2019. That was the longest. That was 35 days. This is his second. And now we're on day 27. The line's already huge. November 1st is the day that SNAP benefits go away. I'm sure you know. In case you don't, that's food programs that are for kids and people that need help with their food. All that goes away on November 1st. It was going to go away anyway because of the great big bill that the Republicans passed along with the Democrats. We could have stood up a little harder. I don't know if we would have won because we're not the lead of either three of the legislation of the branches right now. But it was going to go away anyway under Trump, but now it's fixing to go away this Saturday, November 1st. And along with people receiving their health care updates on what their costs will be on their premiums now. And they're averaging about 30% higher. That's a lot. That's a lot of money, and a lot of people will be not having health care anymore because of it, just like before Obamacare existed. People chose not to have health care because they feel they could take a chance if anything happens, or they could pay out of pocket, which is the truth. All the time, I'm judging my insurance. I'm not on Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act, ACA, but we pay thousands of dollars for our insurance. And often, like if one of our kids ages out of our insurance before they get a job that gives them insurance, I look at the amount that the doctors or the dentist will pay them, that they would have to pay, and I would say to myself, I'd rather just pay when I need to go because it would be so much cheaper than healthcare. So what Biden did during COVID was get all these prices down to help people because people weren't working, people were dying, and it made it a lot more affordable for regular people that own businesses. That's who this would pertain to, because if you work for a company or the government, you're going to receive health insurance through them, most likely. Some people don't. So if you don't, then you would get Obamacare, also known as the ACA, Affordable Care Act. So now, like, people will be paying thousands of dollars extra every year, even monthly. So it's insanity. So that didn't get fixed until COVID, and the Republicans will not let that go on to keep it affordable for Americans. So that's why the Democrats, well, not that they can open the government, but what the Republicans want is the Democrats to sign the big, beautiful bill that has already got this on it for it not to extend. So everybody's price would go up anyway, whether it was this year or next year. And now the Democrats, since they have this position, they're holding this position so they could at least make everybody's health insurance affordable for them and their families. And the Republicans are saying, oh, you already signed off on it. And the Democrats are saying, yeah, but we didn't really want to. And we didn't. It's just that you have the majority, so it got passed through. But now that it's here, we need to stop this. And for the last few months, the Republicans have not stopped it. They have not prolonged it. This to keep the prices down. They have not prolonged it for the people, for all their people. This is for everybody, no matter where you live. It's for these people. And they have not prolonged it. And they still won't prolong it. But they still want the Democrats to come in and push this big bill through without any compromise, without any talking, without anything for the people. And not just for Democratic people, for Republican people, for unaffiliated people, for anybody. This is for everybody. And this is only the beginning of that bill. I don't think anybody in the Congress, well, some people read the bill. If they would have actually read it, they would see how it's affecting the people in their districts. And that's why Marjorie Taylor Greene is speaking up right now, because she realizes how it's affecting her district in Georgia right now. She's realizing how it's affecting her children now that are on Obama/ACA insurance, health insurance, okay? And how much money this costs without prolonging President Biden's credit. The word slips my mind right now, to keep the price down and normalize it. So both of them are holding out. And now food lines are growing. And now Canada is playing this commercial. They ended up playing it all weekend, even though Doug Ford said, yeah, we'll stop. They ended up playing it all weekend. And so Donald Trump, that really triggered him. Now, the food lines don't seem to be triggering him or his MAGA Republicans. Normal, middle of the road Republicans, or not even all the way to the right MAGA Republicans, have spoken out, whether they are elected officials like Thomas Massie or the people that were elected for, I think it's Oklahoma. Everybody's speaking out now, whether you're left or right, that this has got to stop. The food banks are getting empty. Everybody needs health insurance. This is ridiculous. So while this is happening, Trump is getting triggered over a commercial, and he's not getting triggered over the people he was elected to represent, to get them fed, to get them paid. He just used $40 billion of tax fund payers' money to bail out Argentina to win their election, and they won. Congratulations, Argentina. But what about Americans? What about paying the people that aren't getting paid right now? Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because it helps with the algorithms, and I would really appreciate it if you gave us a thumbs up. Both of them are free. Or you can make a donation. You'll find the link on my homepage. It says paypal.me/sparklesilver, because my silvers.